Here's where I'm at, Rob. I feel like we've spent a lot of time, rightfully so, on game situations from 10-0, 3:30 to go, to I feel like a lot of what was talked about was the last play, and even Matt LaFleur saying it was like watching the slow car crash. Yeah. And I think I've had it to the point where I was just like, you got a first down with Matthew Golden. You scored plenty of points in that game. There was no evidence that they were going to stop you. You have a timeout, a 2-minute warning. You have to be collaborating on the goal for your team. And if you have the right goal of we're going to go win this football game, we wouldn't have seen the lollygag into the line. It was a disservice to the team, in my opinion, of how everything was communicated, because it wasn't communicated good enough. We wouldn't be spending time on the last play if Matt LaFleur entrusted his team to go win that damn game.
Yeah, I mean, it was just confusion all around, which, like, obviously that starts with your preparation and knowing what to do in that situation, which obviously, starts with the head coach. And, they practice a lot of scenarios, Ben, but they clearly didn't practice the right one this time. But look, I think it goes back. There's so much more that could have happened from a game management, from a play calling, from a philosophy standpoint that could have made that position, non-existent. I mean, I know it was early in the game, but watching it live, I could not believe that they didn't go for it on 4th and 2 from the Cowboys' 49-yard line. And look, I heard Matt LaFleur's explanation. Like, they've got a really good kicker, so if you don't get it, he's basically already in field goal range. But this game, I mean, Dallas's defense is going to give up points, man. Like, that was an opportunity to me early in the game to punch him in the mouth. And I just don't understand. I said it live that I would go for it, and I maintain that stance. It's easy to say, after the fact, but you can ask anybody sitting around me in the press box. I said it live, like, what are they doing here?
Yeah, I just have a lot of frustration with this game. Did you also have any questions with the way, after they got that first down, the 4th down conversion in overtime, were you kind of shocked with the lack of urgency that they showed to finish that football game?
100%. And like, if you go back and watch it, Kyle, like, just like the O-line or the receiver, it was everybody. Like, everybody was slow to get to the line. I think Tucker Kraft might have been past the ball, and he just sort of kind of jogged back to get into position. Like, it was the whole operations, which tells me one thing, that they were all on that page, which meant that it was not communicated to them previous to that play. Like, we're going to have 2 play calls here. If this happens, we're going to this call, and let's get up there right away. That obviously was never communicated.
They took a timeout too. Was it after the Matthew Golden tackle behind the line of scrimmage?
It was after the 3-yard loss, I believe. Yeah.
And they took a timeout, and it seems like they didn't really regroup.
Yeah, what was there, 28 seconds, if I'm not mistaken?
I think so.
At that point. And that's what I'm talking about.
That was the 3 minutes that got him to that point where it was like, are you winning the football game, or are you worried about Brandon Aubrey?
And here's the thing too, Ben, that like, and I get why you take the ball second, if in overtime, but the real danger was that, you're not going to be left with as much time as, and I think, what did Dallas take, about 5.5 minutes?
Yeah, so it was like really 4:30ish.
Yeah. So, I mean, there was still time left, but like, what happens, and this is, one of those what ifs that nobody likes, but what happens if Dallas's first possession of overtime goes 8-9 minutes and you don't have any time left? So, like, I understand it. You get an extra down. Like, Homer was just, wouldn't relent on the fact that, that extra down is important. I understand it, but it is risky if you leave yourself in a running clock situation, which ultimately is what happened.
But Rob, my biggest issue is that had they just done what they needed to do, like before, when they were down 4 points and they had to drive down the field to score to take the lead 37-34, they weren't moving at a pace to try to sit there and win to tie for kick a field goal because they knew they had to score. And so I just wish they would have had that same level of urgency of, it seemed to me, and anybody watching, and even when you're listening, and Matt LaFleur was thinking about, he said in the postgame press conference, thinking about they didn't want to leave too much time just in case they kicked the field goal. It seemed the focus was way too much on, we don't want them to have time versus, hey, they haven't been able to stop us from getting in the end zone.
Right.
So we're going to just finish it. So that's just my biggest frustration.
My point about it's my point, Kyle, about even the early decisions in the game of not putting the brakes on, or put the gas on it, and you're kind of riding the brake a little bit. But yeah, it was 28 seconds left after the 3-yard loss to Golden. And then, the play to Emmanuel Wilson, which loses a yard after that, after the timeout, like Jordan, that one a little bit it's on Jordan in the sense that he can't go there with the football. You only get 2 timeouts in overtime. They had burned them. And like, you can't, you just either throw it away or take a shot at the end zone. Like, the ball can't go to Emmanuel Wilson on that second down play.
I feel like we hear O-zone all the time, out of bounds or end zone in those situations, and that is absolutely on Love in that situation to know what to do with the football so they're not put in a bad situation. As Rob Demovsky joins us here on Kyle Brust and Dortmund across ESPN Wisconsin. Rob, what does Rich Bisaccia have on Matt LaFleur? I know he's the associate head coach. There was a picture of them together at 24 seconds left in the game collaborating. I'm guessing they collaborated when we all weren't looking, when commercials were on the television or wherever, if you weren't at the game. But I just from a he's on the team from a collaboration with the head coach standpoint, and you see the way the Cowboys executed the kickoff, how the blocked extra point a week after the blocked field goal. Like, it hasn't been good enough. The only reason why they were 22nd in his first year was because Keyshawn Nixon had an amazing return year. He has not provided the value that he's had to from a $2.2 million standpoint. I don't know if getting rid of him makes sense in the season. You tell me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it does anything in the middle of the season. I really don't. I know he has the associate head coach title, and another coach in another sport, college basketball coach, texted me the other day, what does associate head coach mean? And my answer was, it was just a promotion, a title. Like, I really don't think it means anything other than that. And if it is,
well, then what did he do to deserve the promotion in the first place?
Well, right. I mean, I'm sure they thought somebody was going to try to hire him as special teams coordinator or whatever. And look, this guy came in, highly regarded, and it just, I can't tell you why it hasn't worked, but it hasn't worked here for the last 20 years in special teams. And it's so bizarre that you can keep changing coordinators, you can keep changing philosophies, you can bring in new guys, and the same problems exist year after year after year.
It's like the Bears with quarterbacks.
Yeah, no, it's 100% right. And I mean, I guess I'd rather have my organizational problem being that, I can't have good special teams rather than I can't develop a quarterback or keep a quarterback. But it is frustrating. And, I think your point about Keyshawn Nixon, I know it's only one aspect of it, but you kind of need to get Keyshawn Nixon back there as a kick returner. I know he doesn't want to do it, but you cannot let those balls bounce in the new landing zone and then just take a knee in the end zone. It costs you 15 yards. Matthew Golden has never, I don't believe, has ever returned punts before. And he's lucky that spin move didn't get him, really, really hurt bad. Yeah, that was.
I saw the sky view of that. It was worse from the sky view than it was from what we saw on TV.
It was on my end of the field. The press box in Dallas is sort of in the corner of the end zone, and that was on our end, pretty close to us. And like, as I was watching that in real time, I kind of did one of these, cover my eyes, because you're thinking he's going to be down. They've got to get Nixon back there. I realize he's playing full time on offense. He's their best guy at it. And the crazy thing is, like, after Golden, they put Romeo Doubs back there. I mean, the poor guy's wearing the Guardian cap, and he's got concussion problems, and oh, man, I
these are decisions by the special teams coach. And the reason why he's a big topic of conversation is Matt LaFleur, from a situational standpoint. Like, I gave grace. And it probably isn't something that matters anymore. He made a one-score game in 2020 in his second year against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I was like, all right, like he's early in this. It definitely probably cost them an opportunity to win that game because he gave it to the greatest of all time
never got the ball back.
Tom Brady and never got the ball back.
Mm-hmm.
But how would you grade his head? Is he a better head coach or a play caller? Like it is a conversation to be had.
Right, and that's exactly where I was going to go with it. You wonder if, it's like the old, can you be a coach and GM? Can you be a coach and the play caller thing? And I wonder if he needs to take a look at, do I need to manage the game? And do I need to devote full time to that? Or do I need to just call plays and have somebody else manage those game decisions? I doubt that would be the way.
Does that ever work, Rob, when guys start giving away play calling
that would
duties?
be the way it would go. His talent is as an offensive scheme guy and play caller, so you would hate to, that's what you hired him for, right? Like you hired him for his ability to call plays and scheme offensive stuff. Now I realize he had only called plays the 1 year before he got here. But for the most part, like his offense has been pretty good. But they have to figure out a way. Either he's got to approach the in-game decisions better, or they need to come up with a better process to give him the options to where then he can make the decision more quickly.
Rob, are we concerned at all about this football team moving forward, particularly on the defensive side of the football? One bad game, do you think that might be just something that just happened, anomaly, or do you think this might be the defense getting
Kyle,
cracked?
my concern, if there is one with this team, and I still think it's a pretty good team, my concern is the offensive line.
Really, Rob?
Matt LaFleur said, we had talked to him yesterday, would Banks and I'm blanking, Zach Tom be ready to go after the bye? And I just assumed he would be, they'll be ready to go. And he said, well, we'll see, maybe not. So to me, that's a red flag. They've got to get some offensive line continuity. They've got to get Zach Tom back for sure. Banks, I didn't love the signing at the time, and I don't think he's played great since he's been here. But ultimately, they paid him to be a starter, so you got to get him back in there.
Why didn't you like the Banks signing? Did you not like the Banks signing because you felt like the money could have been invested somewhere else, or did you feel like Banks just hasn't proven too much in the league so far?
To me, Banks was a one-dimensional player. He was a power player. And the other thing I didn't like about it is what it did to the trickle-down effect with Elton Jenkins moving to center. I didn't like that. Mm-hmm. I think that you weaken two positions potentially by making one move. I'm not saying Elton maybe won't end up being a good center, but he hasn't been great so far. I guess he was probably better against Dallas, but Dallas's defense stinks, so I'm not willing to put much into that. I didn't like it for multiple reasons, and I just didn't think they needed it. The response was after the Eagles game, well, the Eagles manhandled us up front, and so they went and signed a mauling type of guy, but I'm not so sure that's what they needed.
Rob, love all the insight. Great stuff as always, and we will talk to you next week as we'll have more clarity on other teams and continue to figure out who the Green Bay Packers really are.
Is Brad going to be back next week?
He will.
Hope.
Allegedly. We'll say allegedly
Rob,
until we see him.
I am so sick of being between these two guys. I can't wait till a cool, calm, collected Bradley Nortman. These guys are just Strofe and Ben are
Rob,
just
do you
all
think
over
I
the
could
place.
do any wrong? Be honest with us.
No, Strophe, you're running the ship, man. You're like it's all you.
He's a
Thank you, Rob.
special breed. You have some.
I'm not going to jump in and say, Rob, do I do anything wrong? I know I'm annoying.
Rob, your kids are Gen Z, right?
Is that they're in college? Does that make them Gen Z?
I think they are Gen Z. I'm sure you love your boys, but there's some things you say there. Yeah, it's like okay, it must be generational.
Yeah, like this.
Are you doing 6'7"? Is that what you're doing?
I don't know what it means.
I'm trying to figure out what 6'7" means. I'm so lost.
All of my nieces and nephews just say it and giggle, and I'm like, this is stupid.
When I hear a 6'7", I think of Lil Wayne. 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot. Huh. I'm so lost about this. These kids are weird. No offense.
We break down generations next week with Rob Demovsky. We appreciate the time.
All right, guys, we'll be seeing you.